2:30 in the afternoon, and coming to you from Reading, Pennsylvania. For now, the Exile Exhorter. Today is a tragic day in history. We want to start with that, which is today in 1911 in New York City. Interesting, 1911. It's really not that far away from the topics that we're going to be talking about today, which is Abraham Lincoln. But in 1911, 146 young women, mostly Jewish young women, died at the Triangle Shirtwaist Company fire. There were, when the fire erupted, these young ladies who were working making shirts. So you have a lot of cloth, the lint, the wool, the dust. When they tried to go out the so-called safety door, the exit, let's say, it was blocked. Locked. And then they couldn't go on the other side because that's where the fire was. And they had to jump out the window. They splattered onto the streets below. In 1857, Abraham Lincoln came to New York City. A railroad company had offered him a certain sum for him to come to New York to speak. I won't get into the specifics, but he came to Cooper Union, and the company thought he was charging too much. And Lincoln, after he did what he had to do in New York, made his speech, became known, he went back home to Illinois. He made sure that he sued that railroad company for the amount of money that they had offered, or that he had promised, or that he had demanded. The sum back then was $5,000. About $500,000 today. Lincoln was no fool. And I don't understand why people want to knock him off from anywhere. Come on, man. People are people of their time. Lincoln comes to New York in 1857. Billie Holiday. But anyway, he comes to New York in 1857. New York at that point really only went up from the tip of Manhattan, because that's only New York. In 1857, when you say New York City, you're only talking about Manhattan. There's no Bronx, no Staten Island, no Queens, no Brooklyn. No Queens or Brooklyn. It's only New York City. So you say Manhattan, or you say New York City, it meant the same thing in 1857. Lincoln comes to make the speech. Very successful. It's great reviews. New York, again, only goes up to 23rd Street at that point. Anything beyond that is wilderness. 42nd Street, that's wilderness, yo. New York only goes from the 10th to 23rd. Anything beyond that is considered farmland. That's where James Audubon on 155th Street, right, where my neighborhood is, the Heights, Washington Heights. That's where he has his farmlands. And then this guy, Alexander Hamilton, he was up there also. That house that's up there, around City College of New York. So that's farmland back then. New York is only from the 10th to 23rd. Lincoln comes, makes a speech, successful. They don't want to pay him the sum that he asked for, 5,000. Goes home to Illinois. He sues the company and continues to push forward. Actually, Lincoln, when he was killed in 1865, he died on April 14th. When he died, he was brought to New York, his body, and he laid in state, and millions of people came to see Lincoln. Because Lincoln had like I don't know, like a relationship with New York City, which actually helped them keep the Union, I would say, together. Because New York was the biggest city, had the most people, the most influence, well over 50 newspapers. You have Broadway. New York was the place. But in 1860, when Lincoln became president, he was elected. That really is what broke the camel's back for the people in the South. Because they understood Lincoln's agenda was, we're going to try to keep the Union together, of course, but this is even before the war starts. But this is why I'm here. I'm here to make sure that whatever happens, I keep this United States of America together. That's my job. It's my primary concern. And as he said, and people have judged him that he was a racist. Yeah, well, why not? What the heck? Everybody else was. That's not the real problem for us today. I would say that the real problem for us today is that a whole bunch of closet racists out there. Back then, at least you knew who was what, who was what. You know what I mean? Who your enemy was. Clear divisions. But Lincoln, yeah, he made some comments that, yeah, shows. Say, look, man, I'll do whatever I got to do. If I got to keep the Union together by saving slavery, I will do that. If I got to keep the Union together by destroying slavery, I will do that too. As far as he was concerned, his job, his mission was to keep the United States of America together. How he went about doing that? Remember, Lincoln at some point became a dictator. Yes. Yes, he did. Lincoln, in the beginning of his administration, he said, yo, man, I need certain powers to get certain things done. This is unconstitutional. I know that. But in a system that has three branches, I'm the executive. So I'm going to take my chance. I'm going to take my chance and see what the other two have to say. And he did. He suspended habeas corpus. What does that mean? You got to have a body. Habeas, haber, corpus, cuerpo. You got to have a body. Habeas corpus is meaning that in the law, for you to have a case, you gotta have evidence at the same time. Habeas corpus means also that you, as a person, me having a body, I have certain rights, like free speech, the right to assemble, the right to petition comes from the First Amendment. But Lincoln suspended that. He said, no, I can't have people talking crap. Newspapers criticizing me, or people going about getting on stump to start criticizing the administration. He said, nah, man, I'm fighting a war. I'm taking all those freaking rights that y'all got as citizens away from you. Do I agree? No, but this is 1861. I'm not talking about right now. What can I do about 1861? The man did what he had to do. And if it wasn't for him, where would we beat. Hard lessons I have to take, man. All these scam calls all the time. Now, how many do you get? How many scam calls you get every day? I get about 10. And I think I'm lucky because it's an iPhone. Imagine if I had one of these other companies flooded with phone calls from all these elements. Lincoln had a hard task at hand, and he paid for it dearly. Now, this is a curious thing about Lincoln. Elected in 1860, this is the so-called elected in 1860. His private secretary's last name is Kennedy. John F. Kennedy, elected in 1960. His private secretary's last name is Lincoln. There's a lot of coincidences between the two men and what purpose they served. Not only the United States of America, but the world, because they both were transcendental individuals. And I don't want to spend time going about what other similarities there were. You have to do some research if you really care about the subject. But Abraham Lincoln in New York was the toast of the town. He was staying at Astor House. He had the best of the best. He loved New York, and New York loved him. But in 1860, his election settled the conundrum, the explosions, the ballists, the bombs, the deaths, and the destruction that will be known and is known as the American Civil War. Join us again in another of our installments. If you like it, hang around. If you don't, change the channel. Till next time, se me cuidan mi gente, popo. El hijo estaba ahí con mi yaya, listening to Pandora on one side with Billy Queen, but now they got they got commercials. They got to make money too. That's the only thing I haven't mastered yet. I can monetize this, but I've never done it for the money. I do it because I want to uplift, educate, and teach you. There's more to what you see between a line. It's not black or white. It's never been, and it never will be. It's always in the gray matter. And you, as a human being, matter more than anything else. Yes, the trees, the animals, the flora, and the fauna, but we are also essential for us to exist. Uplift yourself. Always stay mentally strong. We'll be back again. We'll bring you more. I hope you enjoy what we brought you forth on this Thursday afternoon. See you. Thank you. Come back. Like, subscribe,